Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone. What if your greatest strength is also the thing quietly destroying you? I want you to think about someone you know. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a colleague. Maybe, if you're really honest with yourself, it's you. This person walks into a room. No one is fighting. No one is crying. Everything looks completely fine. But within 30 seconds, they already know something is wrong. They can feel it. An avoided glance. A smile that arrived half a second too late. A sentence that sounded normal but carried a kind of invisible weight. Most people would call that a gift, a superpower even. But here's what nobody tells you. That same gift, it doesn't have an off switch. Welcome to Motivational Humanity. I'm so glad you're here. This channel exists for one reason, to help you understand yourself more deeply. Not in a clinical, textbook kind of way, but in a someone finally said out loud what I've been feeling kind of way. If you're new here, we explore the psychology behind why we think, feel, and behave the way we do, so you can stop fighting yourself and start actually living. If this kind of content resonates with you, consider subscribing. We release new videos every week, and I'd love to have you as part of this community. Now, let's talk about the people who see too much. Before we talk about the signs, we need to understand the roots. Because here's what I've learned from years of studying human behavior. You cannot truly change what you don't understand. So let's start with a question. Why do some people become over-aware in the first place? Psychology gives us two main answers, and they're very different. The first group? They were born this way. There's a term researchers use, highly sensitive person, or HSP. Scientist Elaine Aron first coined this in the 1990s after studying what she called sensory processing sensitivity. About 15 to 20% of the population carries this trait. Their nervous system, from birth, functions like an ultrafine filter. It absorbs more. It processes deeper. It feels everything at a higher resolution than most people ever experience. For them, the world is never just the world. It is always a world plus 10 layers beneath it. But the second group? Their story is different. And honestly, it's the one that breaks my heart a little every time I think about it. For them, hyper-awareness wasn't born. It was built. Neuroscientists call this hypervigilance, and it almost always traces back to one place, an unstable or unpredictable environment, usually in childhood. I want you to picture something with me. Imagine a child, maybe 8 years old. They live in a house where the emotional weather changes without warning. Their parent comes home from work, and some nights, everything is fine. Other nights, a single wrong word can shatter the entire evening. That child cannot afford to be a child. They become something else entirely. They become a radar station. They memorize the sound of a key in the lock, and they can already tell from that sound alone whether tonight is going to be safe or not. They learn to read the energy of a room before they've even walked fully into it. They become experts at disappearing when they need to, and experts at smiling when they need to seem okay. Brené Brown talks about this beautifully, the way children learn to armor up in response to environments where vulnerability feels dangerous. And that armor, it works. It protects them. But here's what Brené also says that I think is so powerful. The problem with armor is that it keeps out the darkness, but it also keeps out the light. That child grows up. The danger is gone. But the radar, it never turned off. And that's where the real story begins. This is the first sign. And in my experience, it's the one that exhausts people the most. For most people, a conversation is just a conversation. A text message is just a text message. But for someone who is over-aware, every single interaction runs through a hidden equation. Let me give you a real example. Your boss sends you a Slack message at 4 p.m. It says, "Hey, can you swing by my office for a minute before you leave?" For most people, that's just a meeting. They put it in their mental calendar and move on. But for you, the moment you read those words, something shifts. You notice it, a coldness in the phrasing. The before you leave feels loaded. Why didn't they say, "when you get a chance"? Is something wrong? Did you miss a deadline? Are they happy with your work? Were you too quiet in this morning's meeting? By the time 5 p.m. rolls around and the meeting turns out to be about absolutely nothing important, your boss just wanted to share a piece of good news. You've already run an entire emotional marathon inside your own head. Neuroscience actually helps explain why this happens. There's a brain network called the default mode network, the DMN, which activates during self-reflection and meaning-making. In most people, this network goes quiet when they're focused on something external. But in highly aware people, research shows the DMN stays unusually active. It doesn't fully rest. It keeps scanning, keeps connecting dots, keeps asking, but what do they really mean? The result is this strange double life. On the outside, you're holding a cup of coffee, nodding, participating in the conversation. On the inside, you're taking notes, filing observations, running comparisons. Half of you is present. Half of you is always somewhere else. And at the end of the day, you feel exhausted, not from what you did, from what you thought. This one is more subtle, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Psychology has a name for the ability to think about your own thinking. It's called metacognition. Aristotle wrote about it. Modern neuroscientists trace it to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that makes us distinctly human. Everyone has this ability. But for overaware people, it's not an ability. It's a reflex. It never stops. Here's what this looks like in real life. You're at a dinner party. Someone tells a funny story. You laugh, genuinely, spontaneously. And then, almost before the laughter even finishes, something inside you steps back. It floats up to the ceiling. It looks down at you and starts evaluating. Did that laugh sound real? Was it too loud? Did they notice? And just like that, the moment is gone. Or you're walking outside on a beautiful autumn morning. You feel this sudden, unexpected sadness. And instead of just feeling it, instead of just letting that emotion exist and pass, you immediately interrogate it. Why am I sad? I have a good life. I shouldn't feel this way. What's wrong with me? Brené Brown calls this the second arrow. The first arrow is the original pain. The second arrow is the one you shoot at yourself for feeling it. Overaware people are remarkable at the second arrow. They don't just feel things, they audit them. And in doing so, they often rob themselves of the very experiences they're trying so hard to analyze. It's like trying to dance while watching yourself in a mirror to correct your posture. Every single step. You might not miss a beat, but you never, ever lose yourself in the music. This one is painful in a quiet, specific way. When your awareness reaches a certain depth, you start to see something most people never see, the backstage of human behavior, the gap between what people say and why they're actually saying it. A colleague brings you coffee and compliments your work. Instead of feeling warm about it, your mind immediately starts scanning. Why now? What do they need? Is there a favor coming? A friend apologizes after a fight. Instead of receiving the apology, part of you wonders, are they actually sorry? Or are they just trying to calm things down so the discomfort goes away? A new romantic partner says all the right things. And instead of letting yourself fall, you feel yourself holding back, watching, testing, waiting for the catch. Psychologists call this theory of mind, the ability to attribute mental states and motives to other people. It's a crucial part of human intelligence. But when it's running on overdrive, it can strip something precious away from you. Brené Brown names this beautifully in her research on trust. She talks about how trust isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in the small moments. The moments when we let ourselves be a little bit vulnerable, a little bit open, without needing a guarantee of how the other person will respond. But for someone who is overaware, vulnerability feels like walking into a room you've already mapped for all possible exits. And the loneliness that creates is a very specific kind of loneliness. You're not alone because people aren't around you. You're alone because you can't fully join them. There's always a part of you standing slightly apart, watching, analyzing, unable to just be there. This is one of the most beautiful and most exhausting things about being overaware. You don't just understand how other people feel, you feel it with them. And sometimes honestly, instead of them. You walk into a meeting room where two colleagues had a fight earlier that morning. No one says a word about it, but you feel it immediately, this invisible static in the air. Your chest tightens slightly. You feel the weight of their tension as if it's your own. A friend calls you and tells you their marriage is struggling. You listen. You support them. You say all the right things. And then you hang up. And that pain, their pain, follows you home. It sits with you while you make dinner. It's still there when you wake up the next morning. Neuroscience points to mirror neurons here. Specialized brain cells that activate when we observe someone else experiencing an emotion, almost as if we're experiencing it ourselves. In most people, this creates empathy, a flash of shared feeling. But in overaware people, research suggests the system is more permeable, less a mirror, more a sponge. The result is that you often become the emotional regulator for your entire social world. People feel safe with you. They feel understood. They come to you first when things fall apart because you get it in a way that other people genuinely don't. But here's what rarely gets said. The person who always understands everyone else also needs someone to understand them. And so often, that person never comes because you're so capable of holding everyone else's weight that people forget you're carrying weight too. The title of Bessel van der Kolk's famous book, The Body Keeps the Score, has always resonated deeply with me because the truth is, awareness is not only a mental experience, it lands in the body. There's a term in neuroscience called interoception, your ability to sense the internal state of your own body. Things like your heartbeat, your breath, tension in your chest, warmth in your stomach. And research shows that people with high sensitivity also tend to have highly active interoception systems. They feel their body's signals loudly and clearly. Here's why that matters. You have 1 cup of coffee and your heart beats a little faster from the caffeine. Most people feel that as alertness, but your nervous system, already primed to scan for signals, hears that faster heartbeat and immediately cross-references it against its database of past dangers. And sometimes it sends up a flag. Elevated heartbeat, could be threat, monitor carefully. And suddenly, you're not just alert, you're anxious. Not because anything is wrong, but because your body sent a signal, your mind interpreted it as danger. Your stress hormones responded accordingly. And now you're in a loop. A physical sensation, a misread signal, a stress response, stronger sensations, and the loop keeps turning. This is part of why overaware people often describe feeling restless or uneasy even on calm, ordinary days. Their nervous system is running a background program that most people don't even know exists. And the cruelest part? The very thing that made them so attuned, that deep sensitivity to signals, is the same thing that makes ordinary life sometimes feel like navigating a minefield. So, what do you do with all of this? I want to be clear about something first. The goal is not to become less aware. You cannot, and should not, try to be less than what you are. Your depth of perception is real. It is part of you. And honestly, the world needs more people who can see beneath the surface, not fewer. The goal is to stop carrying everything you see. Brené Brown talks about this idea of choosing discomfort over resentment. And I think it applies beautifully here. The most freeing shift an overaware person can make is learning to observe without absorbing, to notice without owning, to see clearly, and then put it down. Here are 3 specific, practical principles that research and therapy consistently point to. This sounds simple. It is not easy. When someone takes 3 hours to respond to your text, your mind immediately starts constructing a narrative. But here's a question worth asking honestly. What is the simplest, most boring explanation for this? They were busy. They forgot. They're having a hard day and don't have the bandwidth. Their phone was on silent. That's it. Psychologists call the tendency to assume negative intent a cognitive distortion, specifically mind reading. And the antidote isn't positive thinking. It's probabilistic thinking. What are all the possible explanations here? And which ones are actually most likely? Practice this once a day. Start small. Not every silence is a signal. Sometimes silence is just silence. This is the second arrow principle again, and it's genuinely transformative when you start practicing it. When anxiety shows up, and it will, because you are human, you don't have to immediately analyze why. You don't have to fix it or explain it or judge yourself for having it. Try this instead. Notice it, name it, let it be. My heart is beating fast. That's a physical sensation. I can be curious about it instead of afraid of it. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy has decades of research behind this practice. The act of labeling an emotion, actually giving it a name, activates the prefrontal cortex and reduces the amygdala's alarm response. You don't have to solve anxiety. You just have to stop fighting it. Anxiety, observed without judgment, loses a significant portion of its power. I've seen this work in my own life. It's not magic, but it is real. This one is for the people pleasers, the fixers, the ones who walk into a room and immediately want to smooth everything out. You can see clearly that your friend is self-destructing. You can feel the tension in the relationship before anyone has named it. You can identify exactly what someone needs to hear in order to feel better. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do with that insight is hold it gently and set it down. You are not everyone's therapist. You are not responsible for every emotional equation in every room you enter. Seeing something clearly does not obligate you to carry it. Clarity is only a gift when it comes with boundaries. That sentence took me a long time to really believe, but I believe it now. Here's what I want you to take away from today. Being overaware is not a flaw. It is a form of intelligence, one that was often shaped by survival, honed by experience, and refined by a mind that simply refuses to stay on the surface of things. The work is not to become less. The work is to stop letting your awareness become your prison. Brené Brown writes about this in The Gifts of Imperfection, the idea that we can't selectively numb. When we try to shut down the parts of ourselves that feel too much, we also shut down joy, connection, and presence. The path is not numbness. It's discernment. When overaware people begin to practice that discernment, when they stop trying to predict every possible outcome and start trusting themselves to handle whatever comes, something shifts. Their awareness doesn't disappear. It softens. It becomes less of a survival tool and more of a genuine gift. They still see deeply, but they're no longer drowning in what they see. They still feel the energy of a room, but they're no longer controlled by it. They move from fear to curiosity, and that is one of the most profound shifts a human being can make. So here's my question for you, and I genuinely love to read your answer in the comments. Which of the 5 signs resonated with you the most? Was it the constant analysis? The hyper self-awareness? The loss of relational trust? The emotional absorption? Or the way it all shows up in your body? Tell me, because you are not alone in this. And the depth you carry. That depth is not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be understood, and eventually to be grateful for. If this video helped you feel even a little bit more understood today, please give it a like. It genuinely helps this content reach more people who need it. And if you know someone, a friend, a family member, a partner, who seems to carry the world quietly, who always understands everyone but rarely feels understood themselves, share this video with them. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can give another person is the feeling of being seen. Subscribe to Motivational Humanity if you haven't already. Every week, we go deep into the psychology of what it means to be human, not to have all the answers, but to ask better questions together. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself, truly.